that weren't checking racks like that when I was coming up playing.
Yeah.
And I said it wasn't until the Sardo tight rack came into the picture.
The old Sardo tight
yeah,
rack.
that people and then you got the template racks and all where people started checking the racks because then they could, but it's just, I mean, it's not supposed to be perfect in my opinion.
Right.
You're supposed to throw them up there, get them close, and then you take any kind of random, if something's a little bit off here and there, that's just what you deal with.
Right.
A break is supposed to be somewhat random.
Jacob Watson once again with the break in the 8-ball set. He has 2 8 on the breaks in the 3 games that he's won.
Well, that 8-ball moved again a little bit, even though he
Yeah.
broke from almost the center. And when I'm breaking from where he broke, I'm trying to make one of the second 2 balls because you can put just a little bit of draw on the cue ball, which puts a little bit of top on the head ball, and that puts a little bit of draw on the 2 balls behind it, and they start heading toward the side pockets. So sometimes if you hit it perfect, you can make the second 2 balls, the ones touching the head ball, both of them will go in the 2 side pockets.
So after a dry break by Jacob, Daniel will have a chance to make something happen here.
If he shoots that, 13, he's got to get that cue stick out of the way quickly. And he knew that, and that's why he's looking.
Looking at a different option now. Well, maybe not, maybe.
And with that fancy equipment over there, is he able to zoom in on that 13 ball tightly? I think.
Can you zoom in
I think
on the
y'all
13?
have it. It's too late now,
too
but
late. Steve's a little
oh, he didn't have his
there.
head. He didn't have his headset.
Yeah, we're
on.
talking to a guy that can't hear us.
Yeah. I was wondering if you could zoom in on that 13 ball really tightly. I know y'all have the fancy
It's
video
already
equipment
pocketed.
this year.
It's good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. He's probably had his headset on the whole time until I started talking to him.
I had stepped out to address a technical difficulty.
Okay. Well, Danny hit a couple of good shots there, and he's got a clear field of balls here to pick out. He should have himself a really good pattern at this point, and have everything plotted out. He should know I want to hit this and leave the cue ball there. The whole thing at this point should be plotted out.
So is Mom over here today too?
Mom
she
is
watching?
Mom is up there, right?
She get nervous when he plays?
She does.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate you joining us because I'm sure Dad gets a little nervous when he plays too. But
yeah,
you're not showing it here on the mic at all.
It's a little tough. It's tougher watching him play than it is playing myself.
Yeah, I can see that. That's right.
He's worried about that ball that he tried to get perfectly onto that ball that's that he wants to put in the side. He just can't go for it now because the cue ball goes. If he makes it, the cue ball goes down this way, and he can't. He loses it because he's still got these 2 balls to make. But and he's worried that if he makes the 2 balls that I just circled first, that he can't get on the ball into the side later. But he's got to live with that, and at this point, yeah. Now I think I'm not sure he can either go this way around to get to where he needs to go, or he possibly can draw the ball like this and get over there where he needs to be. It's so nice to be able to draw. It's so much easier to do that than trying to explain it. And what happens sometimes when you go to do something like that, you focus on where you want the cue ball to go instead of focusing on pocketing the ball. You should think about where the cue ball is going to go and all that path. Visualize that, where you need to hit the cue ball and all that. Spin you need to put and all that. But when you get ready to pull the trigger, you got to focus on pocketing that ball and let everything else take care of itself. Because then if you pocket the ball, everything else will work. If you pocket the ball in the place in the pocket you were trying to pocket it, everything else just happens. But if you split your focus with where you wanting the cue ball to go while you're pulling the trigger, a lot of times you'll miss the object ball.
Day 2 coverage of this year's U.S. Amateur Championship.
And these two guys are in the one-loss bracket, right? Yeah.
Each has absorbed a loss, which means, unfortunately for one of them, their tournament will end after this match. The other will continue to fight through that one-loss side of the bracket, with hopes of surviving to the final day.
And some of you may have noticed there that he allowed, he actually, on the shot prior to this one, he allowed his cue ball to go toward the rail and get really close to the rail, and that's where he could get the correct angle to where he could move the cue ball down to where it is, down this direction more. If he'd have stayed where he was, a lot of people don't make that little bit extra effort like Jacob just did, and they leave themselves a straight-in shot, and when you've got a straight-in shot, you can only go forward or backwards without doing some fancy stuff. And so he being a smarter player, skilled player, he knew that he needed to go forward a little bit to get that angle. He is pretty much what they call on the 50-yard line now, because with both of these balls, the 4-ball and the, what is that, 5? Or
I believe so, yeah.
5 or 1, it's kind of hard to tell.
Bit, yeah.
He did it well, but and he's fine now because he can just draw the cue. He makes the 4 in the corner and draws the cue ball back over here for. Well, it looks like he may go forward, but I would draw the cue ball back and play the 8 inside. That way I can go ahead and hit it. Yeah, I like that. Because you really don't want to baby balls in. Bad things happen. You get, when you're babying balls in, if you're a little bit off, just slightly off with your tip, it'll throw things off.
All right, so Jacob takes a 4-0 lead, and we will have our last rack in the 8-ball set. Jacobs looks strong. I mean, again, he was helped by the first 2 8 on the breaks, really kind of opened things up on the right way for him, and not a lot of mistakes. Maybe one mistake there for Danny in that last rack, and that ball not made.
Yeah, and I think that was just a little bit of loss of focus, thinking about shape. But that was brought on by that ball in the side that it was just a little bit awkward. Ball that he needed to put into the side pocket. That was a little awkward with another ball that was kind of in his way.
Looks like both you and Daniel have some fans rooting you on here. David Taylor.
Well, hey, David.
Jeff Caudle.
Yeah, a bunch of, wow. Hey, guys.
We weren't looking at the comments. I forgot about the comments. We just started looking at the comments. So thanks to all of you that are joining us. Sorry we hadn't been looking at the comments a little bit earlier. But
yeah, it's hard to do that and watch and analyze the match.
All right, Jacob Watson once again with the break in the 8-ball set.
And he's made 2 8-balls on the break. Very first 2 games, 8-ball in the side pocket. See how much the 8 moves this time. And breaking from there, I expect the ball, no. The ball I was expecting to head toward the side pocket actually went into the corner. But he's actually breaking a little bit further from the center than I break when I'm trying to make one of those second 2 balls.
How much does Daniel play 8-ball? I noticed here he mentioned 8-ball or 9-ball and 10-ball. Nothing about 8-ball. And
Well, he actually plays a lot of 8-ball, but it's it's a different league. So
Yeah. Oh, I got you. I got you.
that's why
So
I was pausing
he does
there.
Play
he does
8-ball.
play 8-ball. Yeah.
That's okay. There are some other leagues out there. We just don't name them on the
Yeah.
stream.
All right.
They do exist.
Yeah.
Looks like Jacob had noticed a preference for 8-ball. So.
Yeah. Well, Danny grew up playing a lot more of the rotation game.
Jacob's going to run out here. Pretty impressive breaking run there by Jacob Watson now with a 5-0 lead.
Yeah, now we get to see what 9-ball looks like for both of the guys.
Yeah. Again, this is a race to 7.
But it's a lot higher chance of the 9-ball falling on the break than the 8-ball falling.
Yeah.
Even though you would never believe that with how this match opened up.
I know it.
I'll get a few balls off the table. What are you looking for, Richard?
Oh, it's just advertisement.
Oh, yeah.
I just noticed we hadn't talked about anybody in a while.
Yeah. Of course, we mentioned our coverage brought to you by our friends at PoolDog.com. They got a special offer on their new Summit Pro low deflection shaft. Comes with a Kamui Clear soft tip. You can get one of those for just $134. Those low deflection shafts get up there in price sometimes over a couple $100. So if you've been looking to move to a low deflection shaft, something you want to try out, they've got a 60-day guarantee on that one. You can upgrade your equipment and maybe upgrade your game a little bit. So, again, thanks to our friends at PoolDog.com for allowing us to bring you this coverage. Of course, if you're interested in playing in the U.S. Amateur Championship, the entry window is now open for next year. You can get signed up, and then you'll compete in a preliminary round. And top players there will join us down here in Tampa for some sunshine and warm weather. And
that's great.
And a whole lot of pool.
To be able to get into it now, to sign up for it now, because it used to be you had to wait until
there was
you might be really interested
window.
in it now, and then you had to wait till
next year. Kind of forgot about it, and that's why we changed that, because we figure there's no better time for people to get interested in it.
Yeah,
than
everybody's
saying,
well, how do I get into that? Because they think they can get into it today.
Right.
No.
Yeah, you can't just show up and play.
This year's today. No, you can get in next year's.
Yeah.
But this is a tough event. A lot of people try to get to Tampa, and only 128 come.
Yeah. I think we started with a field of about 1,500 in the open division that tried to qualify.
That's from U.S. and Canada, right?
Yeah, so you're seeing the top 128 of those. So every player here has already really accomplished something significant in its own right by getting here.
And speaking about, you mentioned Canada, Richard. We actually had our first very high finish from a Canadian in the women's
division, Natalie Jacobs, she was out of Montreal. Came up just a little short to Tina Larson. I know you've probably seen Tina play over the years.
Oh, yeah.
Secured her third women's U.S. amateur title.
Yeah, I watched that match on your stream. Enjoyed listening to you and Jeremy.
Yeah, he's great, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
That was kind of a coup. I called Richard and I said, hey, you going to join me this year? He said, I'm too busy with work. And there's not a lot of people I could replace you with, Richard, but Jeremy Jones has done all right. He's hanging in there. Moscone Cup vice captain. He's great.
Jeremy's my favorite commentator.
He's I think we can all learn a little something from him. Boy, he really gets the balls moving on the break.
And he held shape on the 2.
Yeah. He
almost, if it hadn't rubbed it just then, it came off, the cue ball came off the rail and touched the 2, and it held it nicely. He's got to bring the cue ball all the way up to right where he's putting his stick there to make sure he gets on the 3 in the side pocket. That is pretty good. Yep, that was really good shape. If he'd come any shorter, then he'd have been running into balls down here and been in a lot more trouble.
He's playing strong. I mean, he's been almost flawless here. There's just been no.
Careful here to make sure he gets in. Yep. See, he had this zone right in here to put his cue ball into, and he got in that zone. He's got to get the cue ball back around for the 7 without normally he would want to come in here right around the 9 ball, but he's scared to do that now because he might hit the 9 and then stay over in this area somewhere. So he's going to have to go. Yeah. See, he tried to go all the way around to avoid what I was talking about. He went ahead and went the long path like that, but generally what players will want to do is come off this way and come out like that.
All right, so window of opportunity here for Danny Andrews, which hasn't had many opportunities at the table. So
no, he hasn't.
And
Danny
to capitalize here.
Really needs to. What I would suggest here is bring the cue ball up like this. Make that 6 in the corner. Just roll the cue ball out like that. Yeah. He needed a little bit more top on it, and that would have made it hit more over here instead of here. He should be fine right here. Just draw the cue ball back to the rail and out a little bit. Or he could hold it. Got to bear down here. Bear down and stay down. Yep, nice. And you see how close that cue ball came to the side? You wouldn't think that you could scratch right there, but I have done it. I've been playing for 100 years, but I've done it 100 times probably.
All right, so Dr. Andrews now on the board. Jacob maybe with his first mistake of the match there, and Danny able to take advantage.
Yeah. Now maybe Danny can
pick up a couple on the breaks of his own.
He can run some racks. Yeah. So if he could run a couple of racks here, that'll put a little bit of pressure on Jacob and make his elbow tighten up a little bit. And that's the way pool works. One player plays well, makes the other player play a little bit worse. And it would have been a different story if that 5 had fallen in the side. I think if he'd hit it slightly harder, 5 might have fallen. You know, it's just it's not all about hitting really hard. You can hit it slightly harder or slightly softer. And I was wondering there.
Back too far.
Yeah, I was wondering there for a second if he was going to hook himself behind the 9 or scratch. He's got to move the cue ball a lot here, but it should be fine. Yeah, because he just dug in a little bit and came a little bit far again. So got a lot of angle. The cue ball's going to be running away from him a little bit. He may choose to actually run into the 4 ball, which he did. But remember what I said earlier about focusing on where the cue ball's going? I'm not saying that's what happened here, but it could be. A lot of times when you miss a shot like that, it's because your mind focuses on where that cue ball's going instead of pocketing that ball.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to focus on pocketing the ball when you're sending the cue stick toward it. Yeah, Danny just needs to drill this in the corner right now and let the cue ball stop, run into the 7 and 8 and stop there for shape on the 5. No, I wouldn't baby that ball. That's why right there. You got to go ahead and hit that ball with some speed. If you baby it like that, if your tip of your stick is off at all when you're striking the cue ball, then the 4 won't go where you want it to go. So you got to go ahead and kind of fire it in there. And then everything goes straight for you. And by fire it in there, I don't mean like a hard break shot, but just a, firm shot. Hit it in firmly.
Jacob Watson now shooting on the 8 ball. No issues there. Jacob now on the hill, needs just one more rack, leads 6-1 here.
Yep, he needs one more, but don't think this is over
Yeah.
here, because I mean I've told Danny many times that I had a match where I was down 10-1 and I came back and beat the guy 11-10.
Yeah.
Because I really bared down and focused from that point. I didn't.
Well, with winter break, if you get
yeah,
that break,
exactly. And
put some things together. So it's just been tough with Jacob. I mean, he's just been one mistake. I mean, he had one mistake, and that was essentially it. So
yeah, Jacob's playing well.
Jacob, 22 years old, only been playing pool for 7 years, so his career's taken off very early on.
Yeah, I noticed him last year as a good player right off. Just seeing him practice, I thought, wow, he's got a good stroke.
Said he loves playing 8-ball on a bar table. I said that's his best game.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't play too shabbily on a 9-footer either, does he?
It's a small space to move in. Shows great cue ball control. So
yeah, you have to have good cue ball control in the tight areas. I wonder if he would like straight pool too on a big table, because you have that same kind of thing.
I wanted to make sure we gave a shout out to his girlfriend Morgan Smith, and the folks back at Herb and D's Break Room in Longview, Texas. All his friends that have supported him, his mom and dad, of course. So that's what I love about this event is, a lot of support goes in for these players. They play out of a labor of love, and always some major influences in their life that have gotten them this far along. Yeah, we talked about Daniel and you kind of getting him involved in pool, and now you guys here you are.
Yeah, and like Raymond said in during the previous match, people that come to this event come to it because they love pool. It's not about money, but you come to it for the prestige and the love of the game and the camaraderie and all. It's just a wonderful event.
Yeah, if you come for the money, you're going to be disappointed because there isn't any. But now you do move on to a pro event the following year, which in most cases has been the U.S. Open, which is a nice prize now. That's a $1,000 entry to get into the U.S. Open out in Vegas.
Yeah, I've played the U.S. Open twice back when it was $400.
Yeah.
But when they went up to $1,000, I couldn't go anymore.
Kind of pricey to get a little beat up, right?
Right, because I'm donating. Whenever I go to these, I've been to many professional events as a donor, just to get the exposure and stuff. But I can't pay $1,000 for a tournament.
So Jacob cuts that one.
Yeah, that was a nice shot to cut that ball in like that. But he's now faced with another tough shot. But the good thing is that when he makes this ball, he's going to send the cue ball around this way and come back out for the 3. It's just just pocket the ball. I think he'll be okay. Yeah. He just didn't put enough speed on it. He's still okay. I'm surprised it rolled out that far, actually. But yeah, it's been tough for him so far. He's a little bit out of shape each time, and even more this time. He has no out this time, other than no way he's going to try this. But the only aggressive shot would be a bank shot right there. It looks like he's going to try to jump this, and if I were his opponent right now, I would call the referee, because I would be afraid that he would hit that on the way down.
Contact, yeah. Another look at it there.
Need somebody to watch it. Yeah, he's got a good chance of jumping and making this ball from there. But Danny's probably getting a ref to come look at it. No, I guess not.
Yeah, he did foul, so Daniel will have ball in hand here. Opportunity to close the gap.
Yeah, the trouble here is that, you know, the 4 and the 5 are easy, but then making the 6 ball right here and then playing shape on the 7 is tough. He needs to be looking at that right now and figure out how exactly am I going to get from the 6 to the 7, because he may have to play to where he hits the 6 in, goes down there, and comes back up here. He's got an angle where he can get back to where he was to do the shot I was talking about. Looks like he may be trying to draw the ball all the way back in. No. Yeah, so now he's got that angle I was talking about. He could actually, I think he can put a little bit of spin on it and bring it out this way, and instead of going that long path I was talking about. Yeah, like that. And now it's easy to hit it and come back up here with the cue ball. You got to bear down and stay down, though, here. It was a nice little run out. He got a little risky, though, when he drew it back into that 9 ball, because he could have gotten stuck behind the 9.
Nicely done there by Dr. Andrews to shave a game off that lead. Now trails by 4. Jacob Watson, of course, still on the hill, needing just 1 rack.
And that puts a lot of pressure on Danny, too.
Yeah, he'll have the break, which will help.
Yep.
Got to like the response you saw from Junior there, though, right? He's not conceding this match yet.
Yeah. No, I've tried to ingrain that in him to never give up, no matter how far you get down. Just never give up.
That type of sport where you fall in love with yourself, be yourself, and you're going to play your best ball.
Jason Bowman reporting live from Alexandra Palace in London for coverage of the Mosconi Cup.
But I think the Americans have a very, very good chance this year. And I'm not just saying that to hype it up, because I'm talking to you, Jason, you know, and I know it's all American fans watching out there. I'm serious. They have a really good chance.
Oh, Jim. How did he hit that? How did he hit that to set himself up? His debut in the Mosconi Cup.
They say the Mosconi Cup doesn't mean a lot to Shane Van Boening. They are talking rubbish. For him, it means the world. Look at that reaction. Not just a win over Jason Shaw, a whitewash. What a performance.
I think after day 1, it seemed like the conversation was, whew, what a relief. Team USA is still in this thing. After day 2, though, is the conversation, is it that this may happen?
There's no doubt that at least they're having the conversation. I think fans are starting to believe in it as well. They've played exceptionally well. AccuStat statistics on the match show the Americans, they literally didn't miss a shot that they aimed at.
Billy Thorpe, come on down. Fantastic stuff.
That match was, I got the chills just talking about it. It was unbelievable, man. One of the biggest wins of my life, for sure.
Skylar's feeling really good. Really good. He's been back there practicing, breaking and running, break and run, break and run, break and run. He said he hasn't missed a ball yet, so look out. We're coming for him.
3-2. Woodward's turn now. He who laughs last, laughs best. 5-4, a huge win. And a monster.
I'm standing. Too much sitting.
I just let him talk for a minute, too.
All right, so we're back. Daniel Andrews with the break here in the 9-ball set. It's a ball in the corner on the break.
Yeah, I like to not send the cue ball past the spot, and he kind of let it go there. If he'd have pulled the cue ball back toward the center of the table, then he'd have a nice shot on the 1 now. So he hit a little higher on the cue ball than you really need to. I'm pretty sure he can pocket this ball, but it's really tough, especially sitting over the 4 ball, I think it is now. It's really tough.
Watch out. Scratching that side pocket.
Yeah.
And the 1,
yeah,
not quite going to drop.
Yeah, he's wanting the 1 to go ahead and go. That way you can start on the 2 instead of having to play shape on it. I'm surprised that he's going at it this way. Okay, I see. Well, he's left-handed too, so.
Man, we've seen a lot of lefties this year in the tournament.
Left-handers seem to always play so well.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah. Terry One-Shot Edwards is one that really plays well. He's on the one-loss side from Birmingham, and I expect to see good things from him.
Yeah.
This year.
Jacob pockets that 2 in the corner.
Yeah, he's got to play some pretty decent shape on this next ball, on the 5 ball. Yeah, see, that's like in between, sort of 50-yard line thing. So this is no, he's fine. I think he actually got right where he wanted to. I would have not been comfortable with that, but it flowed. He got a line that floated perfectly, an angle that floated perfectly over where he wanted to. This is a little weird though, because he's got to punch this off this rail here to get it back over, about to where his bottom of his stick is. Yeah, he's fine here. Just come off the end rail and out just a little bit, and then he can. Yeah, he's seeing the entire path of shape on the 8 and then shape off the 8 to the 9 before he pulls the trigger on the 7 ball. Just a little bit of extra top, I think, here to take to the rail and then out. I'd have put a little bit more than that on it. They come too close to the corner for my nerves.
So Jacob pockets that 9 ball, and that's going to wrap this match up. So, boy, he looked good. You got to give a lot of credit to Jacob in that match. Starting off with 2 back-to-back 8 on the breaks is not too shabby a way to start. Right. So, Richard, we appreciate you joining us. I know it didn't go the way you and Daniel had hoped, but hope you enjoyed the experience, being able to kind of share the match with them in this way. And
thank you for inviting me.
I know our viewers appreciate you joining us. So give our best to Daniel, and hopefully maybe next year we'll have both of you guys squaring off on the stream table. That would be cool. So, folks, we're going to take a brief break, and then we'll be back here with more coverage of the U.S. Amateur Championship. Thanks for joining us.